Well, Amber, we know very little, to be honest, and this is a very innocuous setting, frankly, a shopping centre in the sleepy town of Salisbury, and just over my left shoulder here you can see the canopy which now covers the bench where Sergei Skripal and his 33-year-old, it seems, acquaintance were both found unconscious on Sunday afternoon. Local authorities haven't confirmed his name. CNN's on that separately, but they talk about a man in his 60s and a woman in her 30s. Now, the police response here consists of 2 further tents over there and some vans. I have to say, you know, if this was considered to be an enormous incident, perhaps involving some sort of poisoning or an attempt on somebody's life, I would have considered to see a lot more of a police presence here at this stage. And we are hearing that this is not being handled by the counter-terrorism police, which possibly begins to downplay exactly what we're dealing with here. But this is a man of an extraordinary history. In 2006, Sergei Skripal was given a 13-year sentence for spying, according to Russian state media, for Britain's MI6, Foreign Intelligence Agency. He himself was a foreign intelligence agent at that particular time, accused of doing the spying in the 90s. Now, in 2010, he was one of 4 Russian citizens held in Russian jails by the Russians for spying offences, who was swapped for 10 Russians who'd been caught in in the United States, accused of wrongdoing and espionage there. In fact, one of them was quite notorious, Anna Chapman. That swap occurred, and then Sergei Skripal chose to live his life quite quietly here in the town of Salisbury. So we don't exactly know what it was that happened on Sunday afternoon, but there is a climate of certain suspicion here, given about a decade ago how Alexander Litvinenko, another quite well-known Russian spy who also claimed asylum here in the United Kingdom, how he was poisoned by polonium in a Mayfair hotel. That took his life a number of weeks later. There have been a number of instances, too, in which those who've fallen foul of the Russian state or, in the mind, perhaps betrayed their previous allegiances and then sought asylum here in the UK have come to perhaps questionable ends. And that, of course, led many, when they heard the news of what happened here on Sunday afternoon, to perhaps presume the worst. I think the authorities are still working through exactly what's happened here. As I say, the nature of the police response behind me doesn't necessarily suggest that we're dealing with the most maximum of seriousness, but frankly, we don't know. And we do know that Mr. Skripal is still considered to be ill in hospital. Not many details about exactly what's happening to him in terms of treatment. Very little known about what that substance was. We know that a pizza restaurant very close to this particular bench is still being sealed off by local authorities. They're not thought to be a danger to public health more generally in Salisbury, and that possibly rules out the kind of thing like polonium with a sort of radioactive threat to health that there may be there. But still, this just shows really how, frankly, troubled people are by the actions of the Russian state across Europe, and what that threat may still consist for those who've once fallen foul of the Russian state. Back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of questions still, as you say. Nick Payton-Walsh, thank you very much. Live for us there in Salisbury.